Hey, somebody needs to get a ticket to the movie. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today and with every show we do is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. The Professional Noticer is sponsored this week by our friends at Tucker ATV. You know, the variety of power sport products at Tucker ATV is just astounding. The Hustler turf equipment, the entire line of Echo power tools, and of course, Tucker ATV carries every make and model of the Polaris ATVs. They have the big Polaris side-by-sides, the bigger Ranger Crew, the racing models, and you have to see the showroom, the taxidermy, the antique displays, and an indoor porch with its own porch swing. We got comfortable chairs and television and free coffee. Stop in and meet Shannon and Lisa Tucker. They are just the best. They treat customers like family, which is why people from 14 states have done business with Tucker ATV. Highway 43 North in Jackson, Alabama. Tucker ATV, the small town business with the national reputation.
Come on, John, stay with me. Wake up!
Coming through.
How bad is it?
He has burns to 100% of his body.
Want to send out a special hello tonight to a certain young man who's laid up in the hospital. His name is John O'Leary. He's a tough little guy.
Boy, you listen to me. You will walk again.
When I first came to see you, they said you had no chance. But here you are. You're gonna face challenges when you get out of here, but you can still do almost anything.
Do you like to dance, Beth?
No, but I will.
Who is that guy? John O'Leary. He's kind of a legend around here.
Why didn't you ask me out the night we met?
Figured you wouldn't want me to.
Welcome to the first project of O'Leary and Bright's construction.
Yeah, everybody grab a hard hat.
Ladies first?
No. Why would a man who can't hold a hammer choose to be a contractor?
I guess I like to just see houses for what they can be, not what they are.
I have a scout troop, and I heard about what happened to you. I just thought that my girls might be inspired if you came and talked to them.
Oh, wow.
I may have an idea for a way that we could work together.
Public speaking? I hope you got better at it.
I know what it feels like to think you've probably thrown your life away. To move through the adversities of life, we must have a reason to thrive that is bigger than all the challenges that we face.
If you focus exactly on loving the life that you're living right now, not the life that you think you could have had or should have had, that's the whole deal right there.
Everything that you did, why me?
Seemed like you needed it.
You built a good life out of ashes. Remarkable.
The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire.
Observations and answers, that's what we do here on The Professional Noticer. And as you know, we love it when somebody comes to the table with both. Occasionally, we get really lucky and have somebody that has like double portions of observations and double portions of answers. And we have a life here today that has been lived in a way that has given this guy double portions of wisdom. And so I'm honored to have John on this morning. John is my friend. He is a best-selling author. He's a speaker. He a very in-demand speaker. And now he is a movie producer. And he has produced a movie about his wife's favorite subject, which is him. Welcome,
you're ready to
John
just like
O'Leary.
I wrote it, Andy.
Hey, John O'Leary, how are you, buddy?
Andy Andrews, the nicest thing you said in there is that he is my friend. And in a world where we toss around words like love without it really meaning it, or friend without really meaning it. Man, when I'm with you, I'm with my friend. And so this is an honor.
Well, I appreciate that, and you are my friend. I mean, that's how I talk about you when I talk about you to my other friends.
Amen.
So, but I am so excited about this movie. The movie is called Soul on Fire, which references what happened to you as a child. And I remember, like, the first time you told me the story of what happened to you as a child and the Jack Buck thing coming in, my jaw was just around my knees. And so to think, and I've already watched the trailer, and I've already checked, and we have the movie here right down 100 yards from our studio. And so we're going to see that today or tomorrow. And I'm going to take my whole office, and we're going to see it. So I am so excited about this. So just give us a little rehash on what happened so that they'll know kind of what the movie's about.
Right on. Well, there's almost like two chapters, if you will, in the film from a character build, I guess. The first is the obvious. So Soul on Fire is about a little boy named John O'Leary who gets burned as a kid on 100% of his body, absolutely should have died. And so then there's this remarkable, miraculous story about grace and mercy and caregivers showing up. And you mentioned the name Jack Buck, the radio announcer for the St. Louis Cardinals, and Billy Graham and Pope John Paul II and Ronald Reagan. And it's like this all-star cast of servants, but not just the big names, the janitor and the neighbor and the siblings. And so it's this really remarkable story of like what they did, the words they spoke, the grace they offered, and the miracle they were part of. And if that was the full story, I don't know if it's worth doing. I think the more interesting part of the story for me is, even though it was a miraculous story and I came home at age 9 now, 5 months later, the scars defined me, Andy. Yeah. So I had scars from my neck to my toes. I was in a wheelchair for a while. My fingers had been amputated, which is to say I was a victim of everything that I'd been through. I wasn't looking at my life as a gift. I was looking at it almost as a curse and something to run from and to hide. And so I spent the next 2 decades in real life and in the film hiding that, wearing long sleeves, over-serving myself with alcohol and every other thing I could get my hands on, and just disappearing from the grace that I'd received. So then in my mind, the remarkable story is how people just kept showing up in the midst of that. And eventually loving this young man enough to such a degree where he could begin loving himself. And then he gets an opportunity through grace to speak at a Girl Scout troop when I'd never told anybody in the world how I got burned, not Andy Andrews, not my construction crew. I told nobody because I didn't want to be defined by it. But I spoke to this little troop, did a pathetic job, Andy, was not even paid a box of Samoas for the effort, man, did not earn it. But on the way out of Dad said, John, that was awesome. Would you speak at my Rotary Club? And then would you speak at my Kiwanis Club, and then a prison, and then a chamber? And so it's this remarkable grace-filled story that ultimately focuses less on John O'Leary's resiliency and toughness and passion for life, and tons more on everybody else. So the hero in the story is not John. It's everybody around him. And I think right now where we are as a nation, where it's you versus me on everything, to have a community story, a family-centric story, faith-loved story is right on time.
I agree. Knowing what I know about your story and seeing what I saw on the trailer, I had a surreal feeling because you are my friend, and watching a friend's life there, it's kind of odd. I wondered, do you watch it and does it seem like almost a dream to you, or does it seem like it happened to somebody else, or do you go, yeah, that's it? I mean, what are you thinking when you watch this?
Well, you gave me a multiple choice in ABC, and if there's D, it's like all of the above.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, that is for sure a D. Like, number one is I'm an introvert. I'm a Midwest kid. I didn't sign up for any of this. You know what I mean? Like I kind of got drawn, man, into speaking and then into the book thing and then into press interviews. But I don't long for it. I like being home with my wife and kids. That's what I
Right.
love. So that is hard to be elevated, in particular when you still feel so often unworthy. So that's odd. Secondly, they filmed the movie where it happened. So the fire takes place in my mom and dad's house. The treatment is given in the hospital where I was treated. Eventually, later on in the film, when I meet my wife, that's at St. Louis University. Our first dance is in front of the clock tower. We get married at the Shrine of St. Joseph downtown. You know the story of Jack Buck. Well, those were filmed in the stadium. So to watch this film roll out, showing these personal details of my life, where they happened, with grade A actors portraying it to such a degree, Andy, like even in the wedding scene, the girl playing my wife looks just like her, and she's wearing my wife's actual wedding dress.
Wow.
So like the whole thing is just like, dude, what world are we living in? And so it's hard and therapeutic to watch that, but then you go to theaters. And it's one thing when people are all last named O'Leary watching it and they all laugh and cry and applaud. But then I'll go out to random cities where they don't know I'm in there. And I hear them laugh and cry and at the end applaud. And then they start sharing once they know I'm in the room because we meet afterwards, like what it means for them. And to know that the story that we didn't want, I didn't set up to get burned. I didn't want to have it glorified. To know that it's being redeemed and is elevating the lives of others, like, dude, I mean, all day long, I will sign up for this work if it's about making other people's lives better than it was the day before.
Man, the one thing you and I are both, I don't know if perfectionist is the right word, but we certainly have high standards, and we've seen enough bad movies to be able to spot them pretty quickly. I mean, and so the one thing that hit me when I watched that trailer was how well done this was. I mean, this is really well done. William Macy plays Jack Buck,
Yeah.
and everybody will recognize William Macy under the Jack Buck exterior. And I, saw a scene with him and you, and golly, I mean, with you as a little kid, and it's just it. John, are your parents? They're still alive?
I'm really glad you brought that up because I wasn't going to, but I think it's important to know this. My mom and dad were best friends for 64 years. My father passed away on May 30th and just died. And so two things I want to say about that. One of the main heroes in the film is my dad. I mean, there's a bunch. I ultimately reached out to all the actors. So when it was William H. Macy's turn to be extended an offer, I reached out to him and I explained who Jack Buck, the radio announcer, was, and then said to him, man, you're the hero of this film. Like, please portray this person and bring him to life. And he did. With my dad, his name was John Corbett. So John Corbett's from Sex and the City and My Big Fat Greek Wedding, like a real actor, man. And I'm like, John, listen, buddy, you play a man who raised 6 kids, ran a good business, served his nation in the military, picks up Parkinson's disease along the way, and fights against that thing for 30 years, never once complaining. I want you to play the role of a hero in this film. And John said yes, which is awesome. So John Corbett did a masterful job. I had the chance on May 15th of bringing my dad to the movie. There was a client who wanted to buy 3,000 movie tickets. And so we rented out a theater to show them what they were signing up for. And I snuck my dad in. And at the end, while everybody's applauding, I leaned over to my dad and I said, hey, Dad, what do you think about your movie? And my dad, who was in a wheelchair and in pain, real pain at the time, Andy, leans back and says, what a gift. What a gift. And it's only retrospectively sometimes that things really make sense. I don't think he was just reviewing the film. He was reviewing his life.
He was reviewing his life.
And Parkinson's and 2 house fires and a kid getting burned within an inch of his life. And man, a whole bunch of stuff I can't talk about, but every family's got stuff. So do we.
Sure.
And yet this man near the end of it all was able to look up at a screen, then over to his boy and say, what a gift. And so, yeah, my dad watched the film. In the wedding scene when John and Beth are married in the movie, in row two behind the actors, you'll see my mom and my dad, my real mom and my real dad playing the roles of grandparents. And it's my favorite scene in the whole movie. Andy, my dad can't stand, but when the director yelled out the word action, you see this old Parkinson's veteran pull himself up and will himself forward. And dude, like, it's a moving scene no matter what, but when you have a little bit of context with how much struggle that guy went through and now he's still rising up at the end of the movie, end of his life, it's just awesome. This is a true story. It's a true story about life, man. And yeah, I see the flag behind you flying. More than half the nation says the American dream is dead. And I beg them, come on and check out this film, because it's not dead, man. If you're willing to move forward for something bigger than yourself, which is what the American dream was about, not about you. It's about everybody who comes in line behind you. That's the American dream. Fight for something bigger than you is the American dream, not you and not ease. This is a celebration of the dream lived out well by people who lived it out well through heartache.
How old are you, John?
48.
You know, my daddy died when I was 19. And I look at somebody like you, and I'm sometimes a little bit envious that you had a great dad for 48 years. And, you know, I watched that trailer, and for some reason, and I apologize, I hadn't seen the movie yet, but I watched the trailer, and for some reason, my focus in that trailer was on the character playing your dad. And I that's what I thought about when I got through the trailer. I thought, man, I hope his dad got to see this or has seen this or whatever. I didn't know that your dad had passed away, but I'm so glad he got to see this, because it probably did put his life into a context that he could acknowledge. What a gift.
Amen, man. It's like great. You know, you and I as speakers, you're always kind of looking for the echo that you want to kind of draw through a presentation or newsletter, book, or whatever it is. I mean, that mic drop of what a gift. Those are about the last words my dad ever spoke to me. And that is a pretty sweet way to drop the mic in life, man, to hold it all, and to proclaim what a gift.
You know, I'm curious about another father-son relationship in that movie. Have you talked to Joe Buck? Has he seen it?
Oh, gosh. So we did the world premiere last Thursday.
And for those who might not know, Joe Buck is the NFL announcer that is Jack Buck's son. Jack Buck, famous Hall of Fame guy. Joe Buck, famous, probably going to be a Hall of Fame guy. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you brought that context. So Joe's his father's son, you know, like in every way. He wrote a book years ago called Lucky Bastard. And read that book, because you'll realize what Jack did, Joe did, for better and for worse. So Jack, I love Jack, not a saint, but a very good man. I love Joe, probably not a saint, but a very good man. And Joe sat in the front row, man. We had a 2,300 person theater to watch the opening night. And I got Joe like the best tickets there were, man, right in the middle, like middle level, like, because in a big old theater, you don't want to be too far back or too far up.
Right.
So anyway, I walk on stage to welcome everybody. And I look down, dude, I see two little boys, like 5-year-olds. And then I look to their right, and it's their dad, Joe Buck. I'm like, oh man, these poor kids have dragged their dad to the front row of this theater. So Joe Buck sat in the front row of this big old theater. And every time I looked down at Joe and those kids, all of them were crying, man. The cool thing about this film, I knew it would work for Andy Andrews. I knew you would cry like a baby, dude. You can't help it. I wasn't sure how like 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds might feel. They're deeply moved. And I was pretty sure the kids would yawn. Kids weep and they laugh and they come out of there convicted that heroes still exist. We opened up.
This generation needs something to make them weep. This generation needs something to make them pause and think and to reassess and to understand that there can be heroes and sometimes it can be them, you know? So I'm very excited about this for you. I'm very excited about this for us. So, I mean, people, and so I'm going to do my best and we will cut, we're doing this, on early Monday morning. We're going to be releasing this in less than 24 hours. It'll be out, at 5 a.m. And then we're going to cut some pieces out of it and social media those pieces. And we just want to get the numbers up. I mean, this movie, whoever that you get to this movie, I always look at that like this is a movie that people will thank you for taking them to.
So right now it's the number 5, according to box office, movie in the country, but it's the number 1 rated audience movie in the country by a long shot. It's scoring out at 98%, which to me is a strong vote, man.
Oh my gosh.
People don't want, listen, I love Superman too, and I like Transformers and Tron, but dude, enough of the fake heroes. Like we need evidence of actual grace, actual mercy, actual love embodied. And sometimes that looks like a nurse or a sibling who goes back into a burning house for her brother. It sometimes looks like a radio announcer who's already got enough on his plate, but he comes back and serves and shows up again and again and again. Sometimes it looks like a brunette who takes this boy's hand, missing his fingers, and never looks down. That's unfathomable. This beautiful girl never even second guesses this guy's hand who she took onto the dance floor. And so in a world that has everything kind of upside down, this little baby movie, Soul on Fire, portrays accurately what it looks like to live well. That means you make mistakes, you mess it up, but you pull yourself back up and you do better tomorrow than you did yesterday.
Man, I have never met your wife. You've never met my wife.
Well, next time we're in your area, because we do come near you frequently. Like we're a little bit east of where you go. We normally go over to the Florida side, like Graydon Beach.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's just a couple hours away. We can definitely connect because I would love to meet your wife and I would love for you to meet mine. So
what I love people, because when I helped write the script and helped do this film, like I wanted to make sure I'm not the hero. Most movies, the main character is the main character.
Sure.
And in this one, I wanted the main character to be broken and to be in need of savior in so many regards. And so that comes out very clearly. But I love people leaving the theater recognize that Beth O'Leary is for sure one of the heroes. And when you and your team go, keep an eye on that, because here's this just humble, ordinary girl who undoubtedly is a hero in this film.
Wow. John, are you familiar with Gordon Mote?
No.
Gordon is a really good friend of mine too. And Gordon is a blind keyboard player. He's been blind since birth. And he's probably the most in-demand session player on the planet. He's been on over 100 number 1 songs. And I always look at Gordon, and Gordon's a great buddy, but Kimberly, his wife, she is like the hero of the story. And, and so I know that your wife has got to be the same.
Well, dude, when guys like you and Gordon and O'Leary are out gallivanting, showing how great we are, the reality is we're not. And the reality is someone is keeping everything together back at home.
Yeah.
And it ain't you, and it ain't Gordon, and it ain't John. And so there's somebody there who allows us to go out and play in the band. And those are the real stars, man. And so I'm wild about, I love, Andy, when you and I speak, man, my favorite people to love on are the guys wearing the black pants and the black shirts. I love the dudes at the AV booth who most guys who do, you and I do walk right past, or we give crap to because the clicker was upside down when we got there and we like went backwards. All this nonsense, dude. Like these guys, they're there before us. They're there after us. They're away from their family, and no one cares about them. Those are my guys, man. And so I'm glad that you're celebrating Beth and Gordon's wife and these guys. Like, those are the real heroes.
Well, that's why, people, sometimes I'll do an interview and I'll say something about, when we released this book or, that book when we did that one. And occasionally somebody will say, hey, you wrote the book, right? And I said, yeah. They said, well, who's we?
Right.
And I said, oh, well, we, my wife, my boys had to be quiet while I wrote it. The lady who helps us at the house, man, she kept things really clean so that I wasn't distracted. And so, she has a piece of it. Sandy, my assistant, she has a piece. So it's we. It's a group effort.
When you mentioned your film and how you're trying to get one done, do you have a script for that?
Oh yeah. We've got, I'm in awe of, I'm in awe of you generally, John, but I'm in awe of you getting this movie done because we've been, I've written some books that have been talked about for years as far as movies, but nothing yet. So we've got Heartmender is being actively worked on right now, and so I'm hopeful with that. But right now, I'm not worried about my movie. I'm spending the next couple of weeks pushing yours,
brother. You can balance more than one ball at a time, dude. I've seen you. So if you want to send me your script, I'm happy to read it. Okay. And then I'm happy to try to get it in front of the producers. How, Andy, when you write books, you sign with Simon & Schuster and you think you made it, and then they tell you, now go sell it. And you're
right,
like, yeah. Well, I thought I just did. And so what I will tell you on the front side is, even if we get the producers on board and the director, you got to raise money, dude. I think, unless you've got a different path forward. So you'll have to figure out what your budget is.
Money?
Yeah.
This costs money?
Dude, not only money that
I know that's what they're doing right now, and so that's what's taken so long, I guess.
But the other angle is the guy who did my movie, his name is Sean McNamara. He's the director. He did Soul Surfer and Reagan last summer. Like, he's in Europe right now filming something. He's a stud. He's a great, humble guy, but he's going to make movies for $3 to $5 million minimum, and then way up from there. But dude, there's a lot of ways to make movies now with talented casts, utilizing AI to a little bit of a higher extent than they have in the past. So you may not have to raise $3, $5, $10 million to get it done. There might be a different path for you. And we've got it. I can introduce you to guys on that front too.
All right. We'll talk. So what are your children doing now, John?
Well, one of them is in 8th grade. 2 of them are in high school. One of them is off at college at Indiana University. It's a good life, man. Like, I like being a young dad. And anytime I see a little girl with ponytails walk by, I'm like, dude, I like your age a lot, man. That is a fun age to have kids. But I'm enjoying talking politics with children right now.
Yeah.
And talking the state of the affairs of the world and AI and what matters, what doesn't. So it's just a peculiar time, man. I mean, I got 4 teenagers, Andy.
Wow.
What about you?
I got 2. My boys are grown, 23 and just turned 26. And so I've got the young one is a fisherman, and when he's not fishing, he's fishing. And if he's asleep, he's dreaming about fishing. And if he's eating, he's probably eating fish he caught. And then the other one's a songwriter, singer, living in Nashville and working on that. And so we're trying to keep up with them, No
grandbabies?
No grandbabies. Nobody's married yet. So yours at Indiana University, that's a great fall there, right? Number 3 team in America right now.
So I was curious. I didn't see the newest release, but when you go up to Oregon and you bowl them down, man. I mean, it wasn't a lucky win. They won in the trenches handedly. That's a pretty good team.
Yeah. I mean, number 3 in the nation, Indiana. I was pulling for Indiana last year because they did so great.
You know what those Hoosiers don't recognize? They don't even know how to cheer for football. Like in Alabama, man, like you all know, you bleed football 365. It's a strange deal.
Yes,
Up
we
in
do.
Indiana, they kind of show for football games to drink. They hear like a whistle. So then they like kind of walk in late. Then they win by a lot. So they leave early. Like it is not a football fan base yet, but
Wow.
they're learning the reps of how to become a fan base. I think
That is funny.
They've never had a good team.
That is funny. Yeah. And in Alabama, there's no pro team. And so it's Alabama and Auburn football 365 days a year.
Well,
So
your tie came up to my state of Missouri, and they snuck out with a win. I think we could have beat Alabama, but we decided to hand it back over to you.
yeah, I think you could have beaten us too.
For sure.
And I tell you what, I've got some close friends that are Auburn fans. I know Missouri is playing Auburn next week, and Missouri's not going to be in a good mood. Auburn is not going to. Auburn should be dreading this game.
Yeah. Missouri's got a good front line on both sides of the ball, and when you've got that, it makes winning football games easier.
Yeah,
They've got some
good.
talent on the sides, but they just have good lines, man. They almost always have just good offensive and defensive lines.
Buddy, thank you for being here.
Man, dude,
I feel like you and I just kind of got on the phone and talked about and caught up and everything. And so other people are hanging out with us now. But
all right, I'll let you go, man. Hey, God bless you. Whoever else is listening, sorry, we're talking football and faith and family. But God bless you all.
I appreciate you, John. And you are a friend, and I'm proud of you, and I'm proud for you with this film. And so let's just get everybody to it.
After you go, text me. And I want Cisco and Ebert's response. So let me know what you think. I think
okay, I will.
You're gonna be a train wreck, Andrews. All right, man. God bless you.
All right, love you, buddy. Bye-bye.
See you, buddy. God bless.
I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Movie posters for the cast and crew provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by the providers of additionalfinancialconsideration.com. You know, friends, we've kept a low profile for years. Actually, it's been decades that we've been providing additional financial consideration for this or that, all to help nonprofits that couldn't afford to do what they were doing. Frankly, we are ready to be recognized for it. It's the nonprofits that get all the accolades. Woo, they're so great. Wow, they saved my life. We've heard it for years, and we're tired of standing in the shadows. They wouldn't have done anything without our money. We are the providers of additionalfinancialconsideration.com. NPR, PBS, those crappy little Sunday afternoon talk shows that have like a local dentist as the guest for an hour, none of those would have the money to even get on the air without us. So come on, people, a little credit. We are the providers of additionalfinancialconsideration.com.